Hi everyone. Thanks for joining me live for Create Good Conversations. This is the debut episode. So I'll just chat with you a little while we wait for some people to come in. If you're watching the replay, I appreciate you taking the time to do so, and certainly if you are here with us live, y'all make my day. I'm not going to wave at everyone. I don't want to be distracted as we're having our conversation. But anyway, for those of you that may be new or watching the replay, I'm Danielle. I am from Create Good Company, and I'm a candle maker mostly, but I also sell vintage and antique items live on IG. So I've been doing that about a year, and during that process I have been totally taken back by people in this community, and it has ignited this passion for people and business in me that I didn't really expect to go down this path. But anyway, I intend to just take the opportunity one time per week on Sundays for about an hour and talk to different IG handles, the people behind the handles, and get to know people a little bit better. And I hope you all join me to do that. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I have all different corners lined up. There is shop owners, there are sellers, there is buyers, there are different kinds of businesses and different from different corners of IG. So anyway, without further ado, I really appreciate you all being here, and I am going to let on our first guest. I'm going to let her do most of the talking about herself, but no, actually I'm in my greenhouse. My kids are all awake inside my house, and it's a Sunday at home, so I'm outside, which is a little bit warm, but otherwise it's nice. If you hear any, I don't know, the train, I apologize in advance, but certain things we can't control when we're live on IG, so we're used to that. Anyway, I'm going to let Brooke mostly talk about herself, but I just wanted to tell you all kind of why I picked her first. Not to mention that I think everybody knows that by now, that she was the first seller that I ever watched on Instagram and followed along with, but she's just so genuine. She does these resellers groups. She has YouTube. She takes us with her when she shops. She is a mom, and mostly she just genuinely believes in community over competition, and so that's really the reason I brought her on. But anyway, it's Brooke from the Junk Parlor. Most of you probably know her, but I'll let her maybe maybe I'm letting her in now. I think so. Hi everybody, thanks for joining. There she is.
Hi.
Thank you for joining me.
Of course.
You're
I'm
cool as
honored
a
that you asked
cucumber.
me first.
You're cool as a cucumber, I'm sure, and I'm like a nervous wreck sweating.
No, yes.
So.
Well, I am fine, but yes, your background is way cuter than mine. I'm in my shipping station because that is the quietest in my house.
Okay, yeah. It's hard to find a quiet place in the middle of the weekend, right?
Definitely.
Yeah. So you have a busy weekend, though.
Yeah.
You're probably going to be down there most of the weekend, right? Selling and doing
Well, yes.
Yeah.
So we have a kitchenette down here in this house, and so that's kind of where I've been doing my live sales, and then coming over here probably on Monday and hopefully shipping, packing orders all day. So
Yeah, good, hopefully, right?
yeah.
Not much of a holiday weekend then.
Well, we drove down to Centerville where my parents are, and we used to live across the road from my parents. And so we had a little, my mom always had, even though we're in the country and, your closest neighbor's a mile away, we'd always do, a neighborhood block party on Labor Day weekend. And so we did that last night down there, and then we just drove back so that I could be home to do this interview.
Oh, wow. That was that was nice of you. Well, thank you for joining me. I really, really, truly appreciate it. I think this is going to be fun. As far as I know, Brooke doesn't have any topics that she says no to. So
No.
no,
So
she's an open book. We're going to pick her brain. Some people, of course, now my thing is going to crash on me.
your tripod.
Yeah, yeah, of course, right? Again, live on IG, it can't go smoothly.
That's what makes it more
Okay, well,
fun and authentic.
I really don't want to have to hold this.
You need a
Okay.
Do you need to tighten something?
I don't know. There we go. I'll just angle it down. I think it's just leaning. It's literally
So
sitting on
so
a
first
on a.
question. Oh, first to sitting on something. Did you remember?
I did.
Oh, good
I don't
job.
have cherry because I couldn't find it.
I'm telling you, that's why I said something to you because that's my favorite. It's literally the only one that I really like to drink, and it's out so often. Like people, I think they like it, so it sells quick.
Yeah, I couldn't find it. I went to several stores. I couldn't find it. This one's called Cosmic Dust, and it tastes good. I liked it.
Yeah,
So,
that's my friend Hillary's favorite flavor, but it's,
not yours.
I mean, I'll drink it, but I'm not gonna be excited.
You're not going to 3 stores for it.
No.
I really tried to find that cherry one. I don't. It must just be that popular.
I think so.
So,
Or no one
that's.
likes it but me, and so then no one sells it. No, I don't know.
I actually didn't even see the tag for it. It wasn't like it was
An
like
option.
you know.
Yeah.
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 So it is an energy drink called Alani. She likes the cherry crush. Is it crush?
Cherry slush.
Slush. Um, so I asked each of my guests to start us out with whatever they want to drink. So that'll be a fun icebreaker every episode to figure out what they like to drink. But
Yeah, luckily when I sat down, I was like, oh gosh, I gotta go get my drink. Luckily, I have a stash in the fridge.
yeah, I went this morning again because I was like kind of anxious. I thought, oh, I'll just give myself something to do and I'll go run to the Albertsons, and then it wasn't there either. So, and not a Target. And anyway,
Yep.
enough about the drinks, I guess. But tell us about your moving and your choice to move and all of that stuff. That's been big over the last year? Has it been
It
a year?
has been big. So we've been in this house for a year, and basically we did it mainly for the kids, I would say, and my husband. And I feel like as a mom, I kind of took one for the team because I felt like I had just gotten my business where I wanted it to be, and everything was like, I didn't have to think. I was in a groove, and everything was working well, and it was just a no brainer, so it was on autopilot.
Sure.
And the kids kind of needed maybe a more challenging education and just more opportunities. And so that was one of the reasons that we moved. So we went from a small town, a small community of about 5,000 people. We lived on a farm, well, 4 acres, surrounded by my dad's farm. The house we lived in when we moved, because Matt and I had started out our married life in Kansas City. And we had the Amish pick the house up and move it over to my dad's property. We gutted it and we had done everything to it. So over like 15 years, I'd finally gotten every nook and cranny how I wanted it. And then we sold. And when we moved, it was like the peak time before interest rates popped up. And it was one of those things that we would look on Zillow, and like things were selling in 24 hours.
Wow.
And so we got an offer on our house very quickly once we listed it. And we were going to come up on the weekend. And Matt's like, no, if we come up on the weekend, things are going to be sold already. So let's go up that day. So we had, I don't know, maybe 10 or 15 homes that we had picked out. And by the time we'd got up here in the evening after work, there was like 5 or 6 houses to look at because all the others had sold. So basically we looked and we walked in this one and we liked it. It was very well maintained, an older couple, kids were out of the house, they didn't have pets, they'd done a good job taking care of it. And Matt's just like, we got to buy it. Now, part of me being okay with moving was I wanted to do house hunting. Right. That's so fun. I love looking at houses. I actually sold real estate when I was in Kansas City, and I was just like, I want to, dream a little bit and look around. And he's like, no, everything's going to be sold. So we ended up putting an offer in on the house that night, and they lucked out and got it, accepted our contingency on our house actually closing. And yeah, the rest is history. I pretty much sold 95% of my inventory because it's a smaller house. At my old house, I had a 2,000 square foot Morton building that was my store.
Yeah.
And I still have a brick church that I had a retail store in town, back where we lived, and I had already transitioned out to my house predominantly, but you know,
So
just
what's going on
season
with
of
the
life.
church now? Is it
It's
full
for
of stuff?
no, it
Oh,
is emptied out. It
okay.
is for sale, and it is just sitting there. So it was perfect for an antique store. There was a parking lot across the road in a church, and so my hours didn't conflict with theirs. And I knew through I have education background. I was a teacher, and somebody that I taught with, her husband was the pastor, and so she's like, oh, you can just have people park in our parking lot. Well, now selling it, others don't have that opportunity. So it's a little bit limiting. So most people who have looked at it would be converting it to a house, which would be amazing.
Sure.
But just waiting for that person to show up.
For sure. Wow. So history of education. Your husband's in education still, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
yep. So he's still in education. He actually this year is an instructional coach. So last year he was back in the classroom after being a principal, and he had been an instructional coach before that. And I taught when we were in Kansas City, and then I was also starting out in my real estate career. And then things happened. We moved to Centerville, and I basically did nothing. And then it was kind of like, what am I going to do in a town of 5,000? So I had kind of started following Miss Mustard
Sure.
Seed, and I'm like, oh, I like decorating. I could do something like that. And at that same time, then the family consumer science teacher, which is my degree, she retired, and uh, the school called and wanted me to apply. And so anyway, I just was like, okay, I'll teach again. And then as I was teaching, I also started selling.
So you science. You teach science?
Family consumer science.
Oh.
So back when we went to school, that would have been home ec. So I
Oh,
had like
okay.
clothing and housing and child
Cool.
development and foods and
So it
nutrition and
all
like
goes
a
together,
million
kind of.
classes. It does all
All
go together.
That's
Yep.
awesome. And now you're teaching us how to do that on
Yeah. So
on
now I have
YouTube,
a,
right?
yeah. Well, YouTube is where I post a lot of my videos, but my group is mainly like a closed Facebook group. So you can join and you're in the group, or if you don't have Facebook, you can see all of the videos on my website. But yeah, so I figured out like a formula that worked really well for me, and I decided, there wasn't anything that was specifically for antique dealers, vintage resellers,
Sure.
and I'm like, I'm going to start one because this shouldn't be that hard. And I guess being in education, I'm always a wanting to learn.
Sure.
And so I figured, well, I'm already learning these things. I might as well pass it along to others.
And you probably learn a lot even in the group. Like as the instructor, you probably still are learning, right?
Oh,
I would guess.
definitely.
Yeah.
Because I mean, we have a couple girls that have antique malls. Well, I've never had an antique mall. I've had a brick and mortar. I've had an occasional shop. I've sold online, but we've all had different experiences, and different regions have like different normal things, and so you learn that way. And then something I did after a few years of having the group was started having guest speakers in. And so, you know, we had a clothing person in last week, and I don't specialize in selling clothes, but we know that's trending. So you can always have a rack in your booth or an area in your store selling clothes. We had somebody come in and talk about buying overseas, and she gets the little English pots and talking to us about diggers. Like they literally just dig holes down into the ground that are like 2, 3 stories deep. And I'm like, what? I've never heard of such a thing. So yeah, you're always learning.
Always learn. something, what is like the number one thing you teach, you think, in your group for the booth?
Probably not something that I conscientiously realized I was teaching, but I just from getting feedback and um, listening to the girls in the group is building relationships with your customers, making showing your face, letting them get to know you, and it's really vulnerable. I mean, being a high school teacher, we're all so self-conscious, right? No one's gonna like me. I have to act this way or do this thing to be popular and to have friends. And just even as grown women, I think sometimes we fall into that trap. And it's kind of like, forget that. Just be yourself. If you say 50,000 times on the video, then you say 50,000 times. If you are constantly playing with your hair, talking with your hands, or using some certain phrase, who cares? Because people that are annoyed by it, they're just going to swipe
Yeah.
by. And people that are like, oh my God, she's just like me, or that's something I would say. I mean, that's probably one of the biggest feedbacks I've gotten from customers too, is like on my live sales. I mean, it never fails. I would forget what something was called. I would drop something. I would juggle a piece. I would say something stupid. And then I just laugh at myself because it's funny. I mean, it's okay to laugh at yourself. And everyone would be like, oh my gosh, I just love that you laugh at yourself. And I mean, what else am I going to do?
That's just it. We've all done it. My first live was a disaster. I like left thinking, okay,
But
I
you
never have to
live.
do that again ever. And here we are a year later, and now I'm doing this other thing. So no, I never thought I'd be comfortable on live on any social media. I didn't even have social media. I didn't even have social media until it came to my handmaid's business, and I had to have it to be a part of the the farmers market and stuff that I first started with. Otherwise I didn't even have social media. Now look
Yeah.
at me. It's wild.
Well,
But you just got to sit in your own skin.
yeah, when I first started, I mean, my husband had a Facebook account, and then I was like, "Oh, I don't want one." And then I was like, "Oh, let's just go ahead and put Brooke and Matt on there." And then Matt's like, "No one knows who's talking to who and blah blah blah, like get your own." And he's always like, only paranoid like uh people in relationships have dual
Insecure
accounts, and yeah,
relationships. Yeah.
insecurity. And I'm like, well, I'm not like that at all. So I don't know why I'm not starting my own account. And then I started my own account. But
And look at you.
yeah.
How many followers do you have on subscribers on
Oh,
YouTube?
on YouTube,
Thousands and thousands, right?
I'm probably getting mid 2000, maybe
Yeah.
close to 3000. Facebook, I probably have like 52,000, and Insta, I don't know, 16, I think.
Isn't that
But that
amazing?
but that's something that I say too. Those numbers don't mean anything. They
It's
mean nothing. My engagement on Facebook, especially since I moved, has just gone down, 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 down because I moved. I did kind of change what I
true.
posted. I don't do 2 live sales a week. I've started doing one a month. And so, if you followed me for a certain reason, I've kind of
Sure.
pivoted in my business. And so
Sure.
some of those people have fallen off. And if you don't engage with accounts, which I don't think people understand, then even though you're following them, they're not showing up in your feed. So it is so important to like, comment, and share. And people don't realize that doing that does make a big impact in somebody's account.
Sure.
Um, and it's easy to do. We just forget to do it.
Yeah. It just means you come a long way, Brooke. Like
Yeah.
from
Well,
teaching
and
high
like you
school
said,
and
I would
not
want
even
you to.
wanting a Facebook to 52,000 people that even if they're not all watching you right this second, it's just that's a lot of people to
Yeah.
influence. But to be a part of their
Yeah.
life, you know?
Well, and I think part of it, I have to attribute it to, like you said, I was one of the first people that you watched.
Yeah.
And that is why I was doing this before everyone else. So I did my first live sale in 2019.
Okay. Wow. Yeah.
So no one was doing it.
Sure.
And so, well, if they were doing it, I didn't know they were doing it. So
I didn't know they were either. So
exactly, there
yeah.
weren't the sellers that there are now back then. I started pre-COVID.
Can
Pre-COVID.
you hear the train?
What?
Can you
Nope.
hear the train? Oh,
No.
okay.
Well,
That's
I
good.
can hear my own furnace. That's the bad thing about being in my workroom is that there's the furnace going.
I'm nostalgic about the train, so it's like a god wing for me, but
Aw.
I hope y'all don't have to listen to it too.
Well, there's nothing wrong with the train sound. I've lived by train tracks
Yeah,
also.
yeah. I totally agree that it really doesn't matter. I don't think any of us get on our lives, whether it's sales or any of those things, and really wonder
There, I hear it.
how many um how many people are gonna watch. You
Yeah.
know,
Well, and
it's just not what
when
we
I
think
look
about.
at my numbers at the end of the year, it's like a handful of people actually purchase from me. So those people are going to continue to purchase from me, and they make my business successful. It doesn't matter if thousands of people are watching a live, if hundreds of people are watching a live, if 10 people are watching a live. Because being from a small town especially, I know that if I had 50 people in my store, I would have been ecstatic. You know,
Absolutely,
if you have
right? It's
10
a good
people
way to
every
look at
day
it.
come in your store. I mean, I was shopping in Centerville on Saturday. I literally saw maybe five other
But
customers besides myself in the on the square shopping. I mean, so when 10 people watch you on a live sale, that's wonderful.
it truly is.
Give to those
That's
10
such good
people.
advice.
Give to those 10
Yeah,
people.
absolutely. Absolutely. I feel for the people that get so nervous live because I think I don't know. It's all their own anxiety. We this is why we started roulette and all of that. Give people the opportunity. They don't have time to think about it. Just jump on, do your thing for a few minutes, and then jump off. And now you've done it. And now, like all the scary part is, it's not all gone, but you've done it. You were successful in that. So
Well,
yeah,
it gets less
the
and less,
community
and I
just
mean,
continues to grow though. I mean, man, there's a lot of, even the year I've been involved, there's so many new names. I love that about this community. They're embraced, they're all in the group chats, everybody's trying to help each other. It's such a cool community. But you preach it, right? The
I
community
mean,
over competition.
definitely because there's so many cool pieces out there, and there's room for all of us. I mean, seriously, there is room for all of us, and that's why I encourage other people to do what I do and have success like I have had, because there's plenty of room for all of us.
Well, and we all have access to different things, which I don't know if I really knew because I've kind of lived in all different parts of the country. So I guess I kind of took that for granted. But really, you have different, accesses. And if you're in the Northeast, it's a completely different experience than if it's here in the Southwest. And the Midwest is the same way, right? Where you just have,
Oh, definitely.
um, I'm going to always offer something different than someone on in the Northeast. It's just we just don't have the same accesses. So there's room. There's absolutely room for everyone. And
Definitely.
as a maker, as a candle maker, especially like I mean, not everybody makes candles, but there's a billion candle makers out there. You just have to find your little corner, do your thing. And in my case, I just do it love and passion, and I don't know. There's room for all of us to be successful and grow in our own direction. And yeah, absolutely.
And we're so lucky to do what we do because we enjoy it.
Sure.
It's not like I have to go to a 9 to 5. It's not like I'm miserable. It's not like I'm bored out of my mind.
Right.
I have so much flexibility. If I feel like organizing, if I feel like writing a blog post, if I feel like creating a video, if I feel like putting a vignette together. I mean, you have so many, different things when you're a small business owner that I think it really helps keep you interested, keep you happy. You can do the things that you enjoy and make money so you can help pay the bills.
Right. What do you like the least? What's the part that really, like the chore, if you will, that you put off?
Well, I would say for me it kind of fluctuates, but probably the thing that I have the most difficulty with is just if something gets broken in shipping And some people are like, they understand completely. And some people are like, well, you should have done it this way and you should have packed it this way and you should have. And it's like, hun, I understand that that seems simple and obvious to you. However,
Hindsight.
I have hit thousands upon thousands of things. And sometimes things just break. And sometimes I probably should have done something different. And sometimes I can't sleep. Like I shipped a mounted golden pheasant one time.
Okay.
So like on a little log, and then it basically looks like a pheasant with a long like tail feather. And I couldn't sleep for the whole week while that thing was being transported because I was like, oh, I should have done it this way. Oh, I should have done it this way. I should have done this, damn it.
Yeah.
And then the guy got it and he hopped on and he gave me such rave reviews and he just like posted like I was nervous about this coming and looking good and it's like in perfect condition, the same as the picture. And I'm like, yes, the idea that I had on how to situate it in the box, it actually worked. And, you know, thank you to whoever the post office guy was that he wasn't kicking it out the
Right.
down the street and out the truck or whatever. So yeah.
That's how I feel about the fragile stickers. I swear that if I take the time to announce that this thing is breakable,
Yeah.
it breaks. If I just don't do that and it's just every other box on the truck, then it seems to get there fine. I don't know what that's about, but
Well,
yeah.
my post office lady, I talked to her a lot when I lived in Centerville, and she said basically it doesn't matter if you put a sticker on there or not because most of it is through conveyor belts and machine like, you know, systems, not human people. And so the conveyor belt doesn't know that there's a fragile sticker on there. So it's more like just pack it as well as you possibly can, and there you go.
A lot of times it's what you have on hand too. That sounds probably terrible to say, but you make the sale on say Saturday, you're expecting for it to go out on a Tuesday. You use what you have, and yeah, you pray a lot, right?
Yeah.
Pray a lot, worry a lot. Yeah.
And that's one of the things too. Like, I don't buy boxes. I don't like, I don't know, you can kind of see them over here. I don't break them down. For me, that's a better system for shipping because I can think, because my customers normally buy more than one thing. And so I'm Tetrising it into a box so I can visualize, hey, this stuff is going to fit in this
Sure.
box and better. And so I don't want to just look at something flat. Yes, it's less storage, but then I'm paying for the tape to tape that thing back into 3 dimension. And I just think it works quicker for me to just have boxes lined up
Yeah,
everywhere.
if you have the space, I
Yeah.
tend to have to break them down if especially if they are kind of like like say an Amazon box, and you kind of get a couple of them that are the same. I'll
Yeah.
break them down and try to keep them organized, but otherwise I have a mound. Like, because neighbors give me boxes,
Yeah.
or we obviously save our own boxes, and now we've been moving, so we have even more boxes. But it's just, I don't know. I tend to buy boxes. I'm a Uliner. I buy a pallet of boxes at a time. I like it that way. But I think for me, that's more the candle business side of things, because I would have never sent a candle out in an Amazon box. That would have
Well, and
that would
your
that would have
candles
never
probably your
happened. It would have
best
been branded. Yeah, it would have been.
vessels are similar size where for me, and if you're just selling vintage and antiques, I mean, it can be every single shape and size, and so it's just a lot more complex than if I was selling, you know, just silk flowers or t-shirts or, you know, a
Absolutely.
standard size candle or standard size bottle or whatever. So
Sure.
it's just a different beast, and that's again why I started the group, because it isn't like other retail stores. I can't just go and flip through a catalog and say, oh, I want to order this, this, and this, and here's my inventory. You're out getting inventory that is literally every single piece is a different shape and weight and size. And so
Even if you find
it's
a
just
box that you're
different.
like, oh, it'll be perfect to ship that thing in this box, and then they order something else and it doesn't, then
Yeah.
you're
No
Tetrising,
more.
like you
Yep.
said.
No
For
more to.
sure. For
Yeah.
sure. What does the group look like? It's a monthly thing, yes? And you get video. How does it really work, the group?
Yeah. So you join and you pay a month at a time, and every week there's a new lesson. So
Oh, it's
one lesson,
weekly.
one what?
So weekly lessons.
Yes.
I don't know why I thought it was monthly. That's
Subscription. You can cancel any time, but you're paying for 4 lessons a
okay.
time, or or you're paying for a month at a
Sure.
time. And you just we do a staging lesson. Typically we do a pick my brain where they can just we hop on like this and ask a question, because a lot of times it's easier to verbalize an answer than to type it out or try and do it on my phone or whatever. And then we have been having a guest speaker, and then I typically do a topic. So it can be anything from, how to pick what you're going to purchase, shipping tips, build how to build relationships with customers, how to grow your account, how to drive in traffic for your booth or your store, or setting up at a show, ideas on things you can do for the holiday special. So it's just anything and everything. And then you have access to all of the videos in the group. So I started it in 2019. And so you have years and years of videos to
Wow.
watch. And so some things don't apply, social media changes a lot, but other
Sure.
things are the
Timeless
same. Yeah.
for sure. Yeah. Business doesn't really change that much. It may, it looks a little bit different sometimes, but business has pretty much been business is business is business.
Yeah,
Certainly relationships are that way with your customers.
definitely.
For sure. What is your like next step look like? Now are you just
Well,
kind of stick with once a month for your own live sales and do some square sales
yeah,
and
yeah.
re-
My goal is to just simplify a little bit, I guess. The move and selling most of my inventory really kind of helped me change my focus, channel my focus. So I'm really focused on growing my YouTube channel and trying to put out at least one video a week on YouTube. I've kind of stopped doing videos on Facebook because Facebook and I had a lot of issues where I went from making thousands of dollars on Facebook to, oh, we're not going to pay you anymore
oh,
because your information is not correct. And trying to fix that information because you can't ever talk to a person is freaking, I bet
you
you I
mean your
looked
like personal like your account information
like
or they're censoring what you're
my tax
okay.
information.
Okay, I
And
see. Okay.
so trying to get that changed, they would, because then in the meantime they sold to Meta, and then Meta kept changing things, and they would say, oh, you need to do XYZ, and it's like, it freaking doesn't look like XYZ on the screen,
Oh,
so
sure.
quit telling me to do that, because
Sure.
it doesn't look like that.
Right.
Or maybe it's supposed to work that like that, but my screen is not. And it's like, I know I'm stupid sometimes with technology, but I'm not that stupid.
Right.
Like,
Well, and
so
if you could
finally we
talk
got
to
that
somebody,
fixed.
you could probably have it figured out.
Yeah, so finally, no, I had my VAs look at it. I've had tons of people look at it for me, like get in as me. And no one could get it. I mean, they had the same issues that I did because it wasn't our issue, it was Facebook's issue.
Sure.
And so by the time that got fixed, I was so pissed off and frustrated and annoyed, and I had just, because in the meantime, I'm like, why am I going to channel all my energy into Facebook when I'm not getting paid? It says, hey, we're going to give you this much money, but I never actually get it. And so I was like, I'm getting this situated before I give Facebook any more love. And so then I just switched to
Yeah.
YouTube. And so I'm going to give YouTube my love. I've been trying to really focus on my blog and get more blog posts out because that stuff lives forever.
Sure.
So if you post an Instagram post, like the reel you showed the other day, that one was like 2 years ago.
Oh,
You
well,
said new reel, but I just reshared it.
sure.
So that's the nice thing about like having a blog is I could do something patriotic that would pertain to Labor Day decor, and you can find it this year, 10 years from now, and it's still relevant. And you can't just like search your Instagram posts or your Facebook posts like you can a blog post on Google, or even YouTube is
Okay.
way more searchable. And so I've just kind of tried to work smarter, not harder, and focus that way. And then also with moving and selling pretty much all my inventory, I've really switched from selling dollar items, $5 items, $10 items. Now I'm trying to sell $50, $100 items and have less inventory. It maybe takes a little longer to sell, but it's a better profit margin for me. And it's just, it's again a reason that my interaction is less, because I'm trying to hit a different clientele, a different
Sure.
customer base.
Sure. Your kids are high schoolers?
I've got a junior in college, a junior in high school, and a freshman.
Okay. So you have a lot of time during your day, and then your afternoons and weekends probably look like a taxi
Well,
cab, right?
not too
Or they're
bad
driving
because
anymore. They're driving themselves, each other.
yeah, so my
Yeah.
my junior in well, my junior in college, he's gone, but he's the one that played every sport. My daughter, who's 16, when we moved up here, she kind of stopped doing sports. She was kind of transitioning out of sports before we moved, but definitely when we moved, she just quit everything. So this summer was the first summer we haven't had baseball or softball because my youngest doesn't, well, he might have played if we were still in Centerville, but being up here and just the sheer number of athletes that your pool is, he didn't want to do
How big
that.
is the
Um,
town you're in now?
insane. I don't know. In his class, I would say there's like 500 or 600
Okay.
kids, and we came from like 100 a grade.
Sure. Okay.
There's two high schools in this town, and there was just the one in the other town. So how Iowa does baseball and softball, our school baseball and softball is in the summer, which is different than anyone
Sure.
else. But basically, the kids would have games or practice or both every single day. And so this was the first summer we didn't have baseball or softball. And Matt wasn't a principal, so he had the summer off too. So it was just weird. We traveled so much, and since my job's very flexible, I mean, we got to do a lot of things that we haven't ever gotten to do before because of that.
Perfect timing, right? Because a junior in high school, you got basically another year. I imagine
Yep.
she'll be moving on to
Somewhere.
college
I mean,
somewhere. Yeah.
he definitely doesn't want to stay at home.
It's scary though for me. Mine is 15 going on 16. I think, man, it's only a couple more years and we won't really be the everyday family of six. We'll be, you know,
See,
it's
I'm okay with that. I
you're
mean,
you have one that's done it already.
I
I get.
have done it
Yeah.
already. He lived out of the house when he was a freshman in college. Then we moved up here, and the college he was going to is right here. So then he moved back in with us, and now he's moved back out with us. And I don't know. My husband's always like, well, the kids are never going to want to come home. After they move out, we're never going to see them again. And I'm like, Matt, you don't ever talk to your mom. And, if we hadn't lived across the road from my parents, who knows how long we would have, how much we would have talked to them. It's like, it doesn't mean you don't love them. You just have your own life. I'm like, I want my kids to have their own life. I want them to,
For
do
sure.
things on their own and find their own success and their own life. So I guess I am not the typical mom in the sense that I'm not I mean I maybe shed some tears, but I'm not like going to be crying for 6 months over it or whatever. It's like, all right, see
I
you
did
later.
that to my mom. I like was 17 and basically moved from California to the East Coast. Like,
Wow.
yeah, yeah. My mom was not happy.
Didn't
They got it. They totally understood it, right? Like
yeah,
nobody was
exactly.
surprised that that's the path I picked. However, yeah, it was not easy for my mom, I don't think. But
Yeah. But I don't want my 30-year-old to live with me or my 20 or 25-year-old to live with me, or I don't want that for my kids. So I'm fine with pushing them out the door.
Brooke, you are good at making time for your own self-care and
Yeah.
like your own being your own person. What are you up at 4 a.m. or something to work
Yeah, we
out? And
up at
you
4:45 and go work out. Yep.
yeah, daily, right? Or 5 days a
Yeah.
week or something?
Well,
Yeah.
5 days. I don't Saturday and Sunday I normally just get up whenever I get up. And I'm kind of weird now. Like if I don't do it in the morning, I don't do it. But we walk the dog and we walk during the weekend or whatever. But
In your
Matt will
CrossFit,
go
are
in.
you at a CrossFit club or where? What do you do?
No, I
No.
just go to the gym,
Okay.
actually here at the local junior college,
Oh,
DMAC, and I'll just do whatever. I normally lift. I'm more of a lifter than a cardio person. So,
long and lean.
huh?
You don't long and
Well,
lean. You don't have to really do as much cardio, but
I don't know if I would ever have called myself long and lean, but thank you.
I know you're really tall, and I saw like amazing pictures of you when you were doing
Pictures
your thing.
those pictures were like, when I was massively dieted down because I knew I had to be on stage in a bikini. I mean, that's a lot different than just like day-to-day mom life.
That is still so much work. It's impressive. No wonder you don't have any problem going live on YouTube by yourself. Like you got on stage
Well,
in a bikini and
if you look at me when I go, I'm the done is better than perfect is my mentality. And that's something else I talk about a lot. Like I did actually comb my hair and put some makeup on and brush my teeth today for you.
thank you.
But I mean, there's a lot of days that I've gotten out of bed and my hair's in a messy bun and I'm in a t-shirt that I just was sweaty in and I just go live and have bad lighting and I don't care. Because again, I feel like I'm not scared to put myself out there, I guess. I would rather put myself out there and know that I tried than not put myself out there. And if it takes me getting ready to put myself out there, then honestly, I'm never going to put myself out there.
Right?
I hardly ever get dressed and I hardly ever do anything. And so if I wait until I look decent, it's never going to
That's
happen.
me with the perfect house. Like I had three under three, right? It's never perfect. So if I had to have like an immaculate house in order to post something, it would never happen.
Yeah. And I just feel like people connect to us because of that. You're not the only one, Danny, that is like that. I'm not the only one who is like me. And so then we just attract the people that we attract. I mean, why be fake? Why be something we're not? And so I just believe in showing up as is, and it is what it is. I mean, if I miss out because somebody's like, "Oh, that girl looks like shit today" or whatever, then it's like, "Okay, sorry, move
It's why
on."
I picked you. It's truly why, like, when I started this thing in my brain, and my husband and I would sit around the table and talk about this every time. Brooke was at the top of my list, and that's why.
Well,
Because your behind the scenes is really, I mean, it's just, you don't, some of us have to force ourselves to show our behind the scenes. You don't. Your behind the scenes is naturally who you are, and it's what you show. I just think everybody needs to see more of that, I think, because we see a lot of perfect pictures and a lot of perfect lighting and a lot of perfect homes and presentations and this, that, and the other, and that's a lot of damn pressure
yeah.
for the rest of
And
us.
I'm already a perfectionist enough on certain things that I don't need to be a perfectionist on everything.
What did you say? What was your thing? Finish, or what was it? Done is better than what?
Perfect.
Done is better than perfect. I'm
And
gonna
I mean,
write that
kind
in
of
my
going
book.
back to the live and just showing up for people. Krista, I always pick on her, and she's still in the group. She's been in the group since I started it back in 2019. And I kept telling them, go live, whether you do a sale, whether you're walking them around your shop, whether you're just showing them that you're painting something or cleaning something or you're at a flea market. And she's like, no, no. It's always like, well, I want to lose 10 pounds and I want to do this and I want to do this before I get on and blah, blah, blah. And I just kept hounding her and hounding her and hounding her. And finally, and hounding everybody. And finally, she got on, and she's so thankful she did because it really helped her business. Like, not only doing sales online, but also getting people physically to her store. It was like, Brooke, why didn't I listen to you earlier? And I'm like, yeah, I don't know why you didn't. But,
You've been paying me to give you advice, and you're not listening,
exactly.
right?
But that is, we are our own worst enemy sometimes because all of us know when we see those perfect pictures on Instagram, we know that it's not like that all the time. We know that. We do. but we still beat ourselves up over it sometimes, and it makes no sense because we know that's not reality. Like, I was some girl that I know from Centerville. I think she maybe just had her second kid, and she shared something. I didn't read the whole post, but I understood what she was saying. She shared some post about millennials, giving up on the idea of being perfect mothers and motherhood being perfect. And, you know, that's something too, like, just because some mom shows that she's doing all these crafts with her kids and she's cooking with her kids, and it's like, I don't care. She's just showing you that. I mean, one, she's probably trying to make money and be profitable, but that doesn't mean that that's how real life is. And you shouldn't feel guilty because you didn't do all that stuff. I mean, I can ask my kids, like, hey, do you remember when we did this? No. Like, well, why the hell did I even do it? Because I felt guilty, but they don't even remember anyway.
Last
So,
year my husband was deployed, and I was like, so like had so much anxiety about like kind of being enough and
having
single parent stuff, right? And so I was like, I'm gonna take him on this road trip, and I'm gonna like do all these things. We're gonna go Utah, the Arches, the Idaho. We did this whole thing over to the West Coast. They remember zero of it. Like, I'm like, do you remember being here? No. Do you remember getting this shirt? It's got a big like arch on it. Nope.
see,
Okay. Well, it distracted me. I was happy to do it. I mean, it was fun, but yes,
we
we
caught
should
our
take a lot of the
breath.
pressure off ourselves.
Yeah, we have the own pressure. We're our own worst enemy. We get in our heads too much. We second guess things that we shouldn't. I mean, basically, life is hard. We're just doing the best that we can. And, it's fine. It's fine. Your kids will turn out fine. You will turn out fine. It's fine. It's fine.
It's all fine.
Fine.
This is why I picked you, Brooke. This is why I picked you.
I can't help
You were gonna get on here and be cool as a
it.
cucumber. You were just gonna do your thing, be yourself, make me feel like I could be myself. I didn't actually vomit this morning. I thought I would. Also, we were up last night. The live went till, I don't know, midnight or something. I got up this morning, like, bells on, like, I have so much to do. And then, yeah,
It'll be fine.
it was fine. It was fine, right? It was fun.
It was fun.
Yeah.
Definitely. Definitely.
Did you say everything? Did you teach us everything that you wanted to? Or was
Yeah.
there anything else you wanted to? Hey, you have a live sale tonight, right?
I'm having the live sale tonight. Yes, good call there, Danny. 7 p.m. if you want to watch me, and how I do my sales on Instagram is different. You had mentioned that I do things different than everybody else because majority of my following is on Facebook, or at least when I first started. And so I have a phone doing Facebook and a phone doing Instagram side by side. And I am live on both, obviously. But on Facebook, once you're done being live, it saves all the comments there, and Instagram doesn't. Now, I have found the Instagram comments after the fact, but I don't feel like it's a guarantee that they're going to be there. So I always I hold up as many things as I can to sell. I don't shoot the shit. I don't talk. I just try and sell. And then
Is it
I go
one
back.
hour?
Yeah. Well, I used to stick to 45 minutes. And then now that I'm doing it monthly, like, I went a couple hours the other day, and then, like, I'm probably not going to go more than an hour 15 now because it is what it is. If, I don't know. you Not everybody has an hour to just sit and listen to somebody sell stuff or whatever. Our attention spans, they say you can have your attention for 45 minutes. So I kind of start wrapping it up. But
Do you
then I
find that
look at,
people come back, watch the replay, and buy after? Do you find
yep,
that
yep,
actually is a good
yep,
sales tactic? Okay.
yep.
Interesting. Yeah.
And that's why I'm always surprised. Like, a lot of people don't post their Instagram sales after the fact. They just like delete them, I guess. I don't know. Or
Sometimes they
hide.
don't let us. Like,
Oh,
it's like,
well,
I don't know
probably
if it glitches or
so
what,
long.
but it doesn't give you that option to save it. So hopefully today it does.
Yeah,
Yeah.
true. So I just post it because most people, I mean, maybe you're busy at that time and you want to watch, but you can't watch. So I don't want to not give that person the opportunity. But I look at what's sold after the fact. And so then Facebook saves the comments. I can scroll through, they put it in order. And then on Instagram, there's nothing saved. So what I've started doing since we moved up here is I'll just close out of Facebook and then I'll just say, hey, Instagram, I'm looking at all the comments.
Right.
And just writing things down. But Facebook people have priority.
Sure.
So if somebody wanted my cherry slush, and no one on Facebook claimed it, then the person on Instagram can get that cherry slush. Because, I mean, honestly, most people have both accounts. So, and some people just want to watch me to see if I do something silly or see what my prices are. And some people want to buy. So, the people who want to buy are going to go to Facebook most of the time.
And you just have more followers on Facebook, right?
Yeah,
That's your bias.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I started originally. So in 2019, I only did Facebook sales live. And then I don't even know what, I mean, I've done Instagram sales for at least 2 years dually, maybe three. And that's just how I do it. So some people, oh, somebody said the lag is way worse on IG than Facebook. So I guess you have better odds on Facebook because of that too. And that's another thing, like, you know, people kind of get frustrated if they show up first on their phone.
Yeah.
But what I especially when I was doing 2 sales a week, it's like it's whatever it shows up on my phone, because I can't see what Danny's phone says and Sally's phone says and Susie's phone says. It doesn't matter. It's whatever it shows up on my phone, and you're gonna be fastest on your phone. And some people have better internet service and have less lag, and you can't help that. I can't help that. We can't help that.
Yeah, quick claims get a little hairy sometimes, but I think for the most part, people get it. I maybe it's because we have such like a consistent following. Lately, at least, it seems like it's rare that we get new buyers really anymore. But you know, couple a sale or something. But people are pretty cool about it. But I imagine as a buyer, it gets very very like anxiety ridden, because you see yourself, you're like waiting, you see yourself, nobody said anything, like you want the thing. Yeah.
Well, and that's how it is. I just think like in-person auctions too. I can remember many times being like, hey, and the guy not see me. And so I missed out on something like, hey, I was going to give you more money than that person. I was being like, it wasn't like, hey.
Right.
It was
Right.
like, hey. So
Right.
It happens no matter where you're buying things.
It's true. Even if you're in line at the store, right? Like somebody can beat you to it. But yeah. Well, just quickly, if something breaks during shipping, you refund, or what is your policy?
I definitely
just refund.
do.
Yeah.
If it is UPS, I just do it immediately. If it's the post office, though, they make you, you know. And I just filled out a survey, and every time the post office asks me to fill out a survey, I fill out the damn survey. When they call me on the phone and ask me to do a survey, I answer the survey because their system for damaged packages is absurd.
Yes,
so
it is.
They send you a letter a week or 2 weeks later saying, hey, take your damaged package and packaging into the post office. Okay, so people do that. And once they do that, I make them take a picture of whatever the post office does, which again is different at every post office.
Sure.
Some will give them a little slip of paper, some stamp something, some just say, okay. And it's like, no, you have to physically have some kind of documentation that you've taken it in, because they deny, claim after claim, the post office does. And it's ridiculous. And UPS doesn't. I think I've gotten 100% of my money back when a product has been damaged with UPS. UPS also will refund the shipping cost. And the post office doesn't. So even if they say, okay, yes, that $50 item broke, it was our fault, you did package it fine, it also costs $10 to ship. So $60 that you're out of pocket, they're going to pay you $50 and you're still out of pocket that $10. So UPS is a much more small business friendly than the post office is. So if I ship at the post office, I make the people, I don't refund their money until they've shown me that they saved the package for a week or two, which is super annoying, and I understand. and then they've taken it to their post office and they sent me proof of that, because otherwise I have 0% chance of getting the money back, even though we paid for insurance. It doesn't make sense.
No, it really did. It's a government-run entity, right? So at least a UPS is privately owned, or
Yeah.
versus
I
the
don't know if that
government-run
makes
entity. They could care less about what their rating is as far as customer service. They could not care less. It's infuriating
Yeah.
sometimes as a seller. Because you want people to get their stuff. What's worse than getting any box and being disappointed with what's in there, whether it's because it's broken or it's not? I mean, there's nothing worse. How do you get that customer back, really?
Right.
Now, again, we're pretty loyal in live sales and things like that. But if we're talking about like normal consumership, you're not getting that customer back.
Yeah. And that's the nice thing about Instagram sales and Facebook sales, though. Like, building that relationship.
Yeah.
If I have a relationship with somebody, they don't not buy from me because one thing got broken.
Sure.
But if I have just somebody buy something off the website and they don't really know me, we don't have that relationship, then it's like, yep, I'm not buying from that place again. Even if they completely realize it wasn't your fault as the shipper. Just different people have different personalities and perspectives, and that's how it is.
Well, you just have a feeling when you get it and it's not what you want and what you expected to get. And if you don't replace that feeling with some sort of other feeling, in this way, the relationship or the trust or whatever, then that's what you're stuck with. It's just this feeling of like
Trust.
bummer. Yeah, trust is big. You don't realize really how much, I don't know, with this whole thing for me, I can't believe the people that said yes. Nobody really said no to me. Some people wanted to think about it or watch a couple or whatever, but I just thought that was such a leap of trust that people had in me to just send them a message, mostly late night when I'm like at my computer by myself. They wake up to it the next morning, first thing, sort of thing. And then they say yes. Like, I don't know. Trust in this community is, it's just so obvious that we all trust and appreciate and respect each other more than we really more than I knew. I've only been in the community about a year, but it amazes me. I can't wait to get to know all these different people and talk with them and their different corners of Instagram and what they do and really what gives them anxiety or what fuels them and what aggravates them, all the things. So it should be really fun.
It will be fun. It'll be definitely fun to watch.
Brooke, you're a blessing to me in so many ways, but certainly for doing this. But you've taught me a lot just from afar, for sure. You are one of the best. You're the OG. You're the best.
Well, I appreciate you saying that. I never think about that. I never think about myself as like that, so I appreciate you.
We all look at you OGs. We all watch you.
Well, thanks.
We watch, we learn, all the things. So nothing but respect for you, that's for sure. Thanks for doing this. Thanks also for coming home from a family party to do it with me. I don't know if you had to do that, and you're good luck at your sale.
I had to be back anyway for the sale, so
okay. Just a little bit early. You came back last night instead of this morning?
Well, we came this morning we got home at like 12:15 instead of maybe 5 o'clock, so it's fine.
Okay, everyone. I had them promise me an hour, so we're at that hour, but next week, same time, same thing, different person. Next week it's Jules. That should be interesting. Do you know Jules, Hot Mess Farmhouse?
Yes.
And now she is your host, Jules, because she's a podcaster.
Awesome.
So what a different path she's taken, right? So she'll be cool too. Like, she's gonna just take over, and that's fine by me. I'll just sit here and say. Anyway, thank you, Brooke. Appreciate you very much. Thanks everybody for watching.
Thank you. Thanks everybody.
See you next week.
Bye.
Bye-bye.